Good morning, everybody, bright and awake on a Friday. As you can see, I am super energetic and hyped to be here. I saw the cable out of the corner of my eye and thought my cat was trapped in here with me. She's not. Thank God. She'd be screaming at me over nothing. Yeah, we got a cat, two dogs. Cat, two dogs.
Oh, two of them.
Good morning, Immoral Hansel. Hanzo, sorry. I don't know why I thought that said Hansel. Dude, you know what? Friday, Monday.
Dude, it can't be another show like last Friday.
They're all the same to me.
Please don't start.
Yeah. Well, already it's off to a better start than last Friday because I can see and hear you.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. So we're already off to a good start. So we're going to do the same shit we do every pre-market and start looking at some open interest changes. Anthony, if you want to fire that up on your side, I still have some clicking around to do. We actually will also be having our quote-unquote first. I say quote-unquote because that was technically Anthony, but then he kind of became the co-host, so I don't know if we count him as the first guest anymore. We'll be joined later, I think in about 45, 50 minutes by a Joe named Joe. You guys might know him on Twitter as well. Another Unusual Whales affiliate, and he's a damn good trader. We'll have him on just kind of going over flow with us as well, breaking down a little bit how he looks at stuff, because everybody trades different, and I'm sure you're getting sick of seeing me take the same scalp over and over and over and over. Someday I will long with confidence. We're not there yet, so I'll just keep shorting until I blow up or something.
We do have a fan in the chat. Dom Carfagno says,
what?
Morning, I've been using GW for years, and I love the updates.
Dope.
Been a lot of cool stuff lately, actually.
Good shit, man. Yeah, the updates are killing it. We're actually going to be playing with one of the main updates here in the open interest changes segment because it cuts our time in half when we're scouring our feed. I'm going to flip us over to... There we go. Andy already got it on screen. Look at that. Mr. Whale, if you're not aware, our dev team built a banger of a little AI market analyst. And honestly, I say it every time we bring it up. I'm a bit of an LLM hater, and I got no hate for this. This thing's fun as shit. I actually need to, yesterday's newsletter, I need to add that to our info hub because it makes no sense. Stupid of me. Don't know how I forgot. I made a video about Superflow years ago when it came out, and I never wrote a help article for it. I just did the video. So I do have a help article now. That'll be in there, and our boy Mr. Whale will be able to more accurately pull information on Superflow. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We'll worry about that right after the show because we're not using it for that right now. We're using it for open interest changes. So let's see, Anthony, if we have anything worth looking at before we start shoulder tapping the chat to give us some spice.
Yeah, let's see. Brain's still waking up a little bit here, so let's. I'm trying to think of how we asked it last time because it brought up the.
You could probably just do. You could just do some kind of iteration of your filter, what you're looking for, and tell it to give you the top 10 that meet that criteria. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And folks, if there's any flow you saw yesterday as well, feel free to drop that in the chat. We'll pull that up and see if it updated. Pickle juice, good morning. Pickle juice slaps. My girlfriend eats the pickles. I drink the juice. So does she. I'm just not a huge pickle guy. That does remind me. About 2 years ago, I was outside with the dogs, and she came out acting all normal and then slapped me in the face with a pickle. And
what?
I remind her every now and again, and she's still not going to see it coming, but I will be getting my revenge. It will happen, and it will be massive.
We can't let that be happening.
The crime.
All right, I'm just going to start with something basic. My brain is not working right now.
I read no
Tucker,
ETFs as
do not
meth,
chime in.
and I was like, Jesus Christ, Anthony, you're really starting us off strong this morning.
Yeah.
That's more my home states thing.
Jeez, dude. Here we go again.
That's something my home state and Utah have in common.
Oh, man.
It's fucking true. What do you want from me?
Oh, that's bad.
All right, what are we looking at? What did it get for us?
Yeah, so we're getting at least 65% ads. Jeez, dude.
Why are you so giggly, dude? Hold on. Why are you giggling so much? What
I
are
don't
you
know.
doing?
I wasn't expecting that. That was kind of funny.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's
You
go.
kind of made it funny for once. Usually you don't make jokes.
For once?
So, I had to make
Fire.
you feel a little better. Ooh, Boy.
Affiliate contract null and void. He's like, wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna go full screen.
That shut him up nice and fast.
yeah.
Well, this one certainly carried over.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd buy it now.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to chase this one now. Yeah. We'll look at another one. How about these Boston side? These are kind of, I mean, not up too much there. I mean, up about 10 cents from the entry. All of that. Ooh, and we did have, looks like a
little bit of a
modification
volume correction
yesterday.
there.
But nice and big size,
Still
so
open.
you can actually kind of. Ooh, actually, it was a multi-leg. I should have.
I'm
gonna go back to
still
Mr.
interesting.
Way. Yeah. Let's see. Nope, not at all. Let me go make a tweak in Mr. Whale here.
Yeah. Omit multi-legs and add type no multi-legs, comma, and then add only show contracts. Jesus, only show contracts that have increased less than 15% from the fill price. Let's see if we can get something that hasn't moved yet, because we did have a lot of crazy movers yesterday. I don't know what the hell a prive is, but we'll figure that out later. Luckily, Mr. Whale is smarter than we are and fixes the typos.
Hey, you know what's nice? At least when Snort did his stream yesterday, he had spelling corrections or spelling errors too. So I don't feel too bad then.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't put on full exact.
No exact contracts. So go ahead and run the closest available scan and show the top 25. I don't know what it's going to mean by closest available scan. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
So I'm curious to see what it turns out. It does kind of automate itself here and there. All right, let's see. Ask percent change. Here. All right, it's kind of given us some that are a lot more usable now.
Yeah,
the Amazon one hasn't moved much. That one's got a lot of time on it, though. Yeah, let it spit out these 25. Let it spit out these 25.
Days expiration on that.
Yeah, it's also it didn't maintain some of your other rules. It's got some, like that Amazon one I just talked about. It's got a shitload of open interest, but the volume was 400 yesterday. That doesn't help us.
Yeah, I'm gonna just redo it. I'm just gonna fully
do a new chat, redo it, keep those new rules in. And for those who don't know, this goes for every LLM. If you change the topic or deter from your topic too much, just open a new chat. There's actually, I gotta say, a lot more people this early than usual. Usually we get the bigger influx of homies after the open, and that's not the case. 350 of you are rising and shining today. On a Friday? What the hell, bro? What are you doing?
I can't get enough of you, buddy.
What else did you want me to add to that, Nick?
I can't get enough of your love. No ETFs. Let's do increased from the price of fill less than 20%. Let's try that. Oh, you got to do. You forgot the opening positions where it had a big. It had a big volume with an increase in OI rather than just a big increase in OI.
Jeez,
all right,
dude,
that one's multi-leg shouldn't be there at all, but these other ones fit the bill.
Yeah, let's
These other ones fit the bill. BBAI. There we go. That's worth looking at.
Yeah, kind of a lot in here. Obviously it all carried over, which is good. Yeah, obviously a lot of net call premium yesterday, 32% out of the money. Just kind of take a peek at the tape. I hate when it comes in and all that kind of sporadic volume like that. Makes it messy to look at everything. But typically when I see it kind of hit the tape like that, I'll more lean that it's kind of a buy to open.
That would be my lean.
Just the way it's hitting the feed like that. I mean, because you know that Ivy's going to be all jacked up anyways.
What was BBAI's actual general price action yesterday? Because if they're kind of already ripping into the end of the day, I wonder if we have a little momentum chaser.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah.
It was up, and it's up 7% pre-market right now, too.
Did they have earnings perchance? Oh, for fuck's sake. Can you guess why? Can you guess
Let me
why?
guess, AI, right?
Yep.
Yep.
BBAI stock climbs as AI cargo deal backs Q1 momentum. And to be fair, that is what they are. They're Big Bear AI, but it looks like they had what the hell's an AI cargo deal? What does that even mean? How do you AI cargo? Wins.
You
Management
got
of Big
me.
Bear AI highlighted. Go away, pop-up, bitch. A commercial agreement with Panama Transshipment Group expands BBAI's presence in maritime logistics. All right. I mean, that could be a big deal, assuming we don't get another blocked up key, transit place. That seems to be all the rage between governments lately.
Yeah.
Hey, this time it's oil and not goods, so I guess we got that going for us. And it's not from a sideways ship, so it's
Yeah. We'll see.
It's
we're only
not
halfway through the
progress,
year.
but it's different at least.
We're only in June. We still got another 6 months to go.
Ushreevers
Almost
1000
in
says
June.
Mr. Whale brought us here. We are all LLM crowd. Iron has been spicy on and off for months as well. I do want to look at the puts though. That's crazy. That's really
I'm
far
gonna
out.
adjust that. No more than jeez, dude.
No more than
100 day T's.
Yeah, 100's a good cutoff. I usually look at like 2 months, but 100. I mean, close to apples to oranges at this point. And as always, folks, if you saw any flows yesterday or want to take a look at any flow from yesterday in general, just drop those contracts or tickers in the chat and we'll pull that shit up. Yeah, what the hell?
Good example. Probably a short put, even though it's at the ask. I will probably go out on a limb and say that.
Pocketing $9,000 just cuz? Is that what's going on here?
Pocketing, yeah. I mean, hey, 10 grand over the weekend. You can't argue with that. I mean, that's
I couldn't even imagine.
it's just funny how that gets like filled all the time. Like, I mean,
oh, Tucker,
what are
some
the
of the
odds
stupid shit many a trader has done in their early days of trading would baffle you with that 10,000 comment. Oh, I'm sure Anthony's seen it too. Plenty of traders make like 20 grand in a day and then go negative the next day. I have done that. I have done that. In 2021, dude. Early 2021, late 2020, before I went full time with it. Oh shit, dude. I was doing the dumbest stuff with options, just punting way too much. I'll see if I can find a chart of that old account. Because I took like a permanent good faith violation for spamming day trades before it was above 25K. And then moved platforms, but I'll see if I can find it because the P&L chart of that account is exactly what P&L charts should not look like.
You want to know something funny about that pattern day trade thing? So
oh shit, Ryan's in the chat. What's up, Wolf of my street? My man, we'll get your ass on here sometime soon too, dude. Don't hide from me.
What's up? Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
He dropped us a straight up chain on IBM though. But I mean, I agree with you on these NVIDIA. These are probably they're just pocketing some premium. NVIDIA's not going to drop to 95 over the weekend. I don't think.
I mean, the odds of it happening, I'd probably bet my, I mean, you can't say anything's 100% gonna work out, but I'd put this at the 99.9% category.
I would just straight up say that that's short. Come on.
How about these mobile? Oh no, let's look at the
let's look at the IBMs.
Ryan sent us here. Yeah, let's look at the one Ryan sent us. Let's pop these here. Yeah, clean opening trade yesterday. All of that carried over. That maybe they took a little off there because you didn't get that full kind of carryover, but most of it's still there. Let's just look at that flow from yesterday.
Oh yeah, I got to get our background music going. I'll do that. That's my bad.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
I was just like, it's Friday. We got a little dead air. We need to be popping.
I was gonna say, I think the dead air will help on a Friday.
How? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Why is that helpful?
He's just trying to be positive for once,
Yeah, like. just watch us struggle and look through the tape and try to find the stuff. Yeah, these look
Chat,
good.
let me know
You
if the
got your
music volume sucks or is good. Otherwise, we're
I
rolling.
will take a listen for you as well.
Dope. All right, IBM from Wolf of My Street, my man. Another Unusual Whales affiliate and great trader. He posts good flow. If you're not following him, hit that dude up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, good looking here. I mean, IV's increasing there. IV kind of drops a little bit, then it pops again there. Coming in here, another IV increase. IV increase on your big sizes and premiums. That's what I like to see. Increasing, yeah. Nothing to kick back on there. I would probably say that's a little profit taking in there, which actually maybe not. I think it might have been a net. So we got about 2,000. I'm just going rough there. So yeah, I think that might have been a little ad there. Yeah, definitely interesting. Yeah, good find there. Good find. I know IBM's been kind of crazy right now. Yeah, up almost 4.5% this morning. That's funny too. Another one I actually noticed before I get back to the chat. That's up big today. Now, up 10% today almost. And it's funny. I want to see what happens because I know Snore was watching some now contracts. I was watching them too. These are the ones that I actually got kind of reamed on a little bit. The 529 112 calls. These are gonna open up like $8 in the money, and they expire today. Like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. But I think this whale got out. I mean, just look at all that volume and no big open interest changes. I'm guessing they're out there. If they're not, I mean, that was pretty balls to hold it down to 32 cents from 2.95. But yeah, those are gonna be like $8 in the money, and just like, are you kidding me? All right, let's keep popping through the chat here. Yeah, good find on that, Ryan, for IBM. Let's see.
Dude kills
I was like, what? I was like, what request is that? Joe joined the group. I was like, what request is that? Let's see, INDI and DPRO. So let's do INDI first for another semiconductor name. $5 stock. I'm just not a big fan of the kind of smaller stocks here. Let's just kind of look through here though. These 821 5.5 calls could be interesting. I just want to see how that previous volume. So it looks like, yeah, not a big position builder. So this yesterday does look pretty good. 300 contracts there. 114. Just not a lot of context in that flow. This is kind of, I mean, it starts to come in here and IV's kind of up a little bit there. Yeah, just not a huge amount of size to kind of go through on that one. I'd say that does look good there. Let's just see if there's anything else. How about these 1127.5 calls? A lot of open interest on these. Ooh, going back to 522. So let's just, well, these are already up here. 51, they're trading at 95. I probably wouldn't chase these ones. A lot of time on them. If you could maybe get a little pullback, it could be something of interest possibly, but I wouldn't chase them from that 51 when they're trading up almost 100% there. How's our
Famous
gamma
last words
profile?
on this show, as you've seen. Famous last words on this show. Exhibit A,
yeah,
LPTX.
yeah. I don't. That's why I don't like the the smaller, slower movers, just because they.
What is it? They
when
say
they
like
move,
stair step in one direction, elevator in the next.
Yeah.
When they move, they just
Yeah.
drop kick it through the roof. We got
Yeah.
15 seconds till the open here. 10 seconds.
right.
10
I'm just gonna
seconds.
pop through these quick. Yeah, we're trading.
Yeah,
in the
no
middle
rush.
of
I'm
that there.
not
Yeah.
gonna. We did well enough on Wednesday's show that I'm not gonna try to scalp the open unless something crazy goes down.
Oh, I got killed on a wick yesterday, man. I'm so annoyed on that.
Good old fashioned
I
fuck
was-
you candles.
Well, I was shorting kind of early in the morning when we were at that big heavy negative gamma, and I got a big wick and it came back down, and I was like, bro, are you kidding me? But I pretty much was break even on the day there. All right,
And Q was being choppy as shit. I would have gotten stop ran on that anyway. I'm not
let me
touching this
just-
till we settle down and get some SPX updates. We do have
refresh
another
myself.
contract to look up before we start messing around. Tucker dropped it in there. It's from Potato Head. What's good, Potato Head?
Let's take a peek here.
Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head, because that affects which accessories we use.
Yep, these are the ones we were just looking at here. These are already up almost 100% here. Contracts look good. I just wouldn't want to chase them up 100%.
Coward.
Yeah, on the hey, I mean, hey, hey, why not? Why not? Maybe, you know what? Maybe I should. I'll chase them up 100.
I do like how often you've been using these gamma heat zones, because I don't use them very much, and I'm honestly, outside of just using my periscope for scalping, just the market maker positioning, I'm kind of dumb with it. Yeah. So it's good to see someone using it.
I like it's cool. It's
cool as hell.
I'll show you. I gotta pull up the SPY one. I gotta show you SPY after this one. But yeah, I mean, we're sitting right in the middle here. I mean, your support's down here, put walls, your support, call walls, your resistance. You're right in the middle here. So I mean, maybe if you get a little pullback, that long dated contract might work out. I mean, it's already up 100%. I don't know if they're gonna give up 100% gains, but sometimes it happens, because who knows why people do what they do. But I want to show you what I was looking at on SPY on that heat map today.
Yeah.
So I kind of like looking at that.
What was the verdict on Indy? I wasn't paying attention except for that.
It looked good, but it was up 100% already.
Oh, that's right. The famous last words comment. I remember. I don't have ADHD.
I like looking at this kind of little chart here. It shows you, I mean, where that kind of upside
let me actually
gamma is there. So I mean,
hold that thought. I'm gonna make it a little easier for the homies to see as well.
You want me to zoom in on it a little bit?
No, I got it.
Just for the spot.
It gets a little grainy when we zoom because of the small text, but I got it if you want to highlight that again.
But yeah, I kind of like looking at this on that 0DT. Typically every morning I like to look at that gamma, just see what that daily gamma, did here, and you get that pre-market update, and it updates at open. And I like to see, where that close support is, the call wall, put walls are. I'm messing with this. I'm just kind of experimenting, seeing how, I mean, like today's obviously, and that dollar, that's not like, 405,000 on SPY. This is like how much dealers have to hedge by. I'm sure there's an article in there. Don't want to get into the technicals about it. I'm not a big technical guy. I'm just show me the data and I'll use it.
If there's an article, it's one of the few that I didn't write. Hover over the info thing though, but there is an infographic. Right there.
This is,
unless it does not info. Is that just a clicky?
Yeah, it just kind of tells you. I've already kind of looked in here, so it's
Oh, word. Yeah. It's the same concept.
Yeah. But I've been kind of watching it. So I mean, all your positive gamma on the 0 DTEs are up here, kind of at that, it's highlighted down here, the 755, 760, 758. That it could potentially gravitate towards that, because that's your heavy positive gamma. Obviously, for your live exposures, though, you use Periscope. But you can look this up on specific tickers. Like if I want to look at Tesla here, let me just look at Tesla here. So we're slightly red on the day here. Let me pop open the gamma area. So I'm curious to see what happens, because I mean, your biggest spot there is at that 450 strike. So I mean, it would need a pretty big pop to get there. Where's our put wall? I mean, you're about we're 435 here. So I mean, you're about $3. So I mean, you start using these in tandem here, like your put wall. Your support's there at 435. There's a lot of positive gamma there at that 450 strike. So I mean, start kind of using these in tandem. Well, I'm not telling you what to do, but I would start. I'll rephrase that. I would start using these in tandem and just kind of, hey, where support. I know there's a lot of positive gamma up here. Potentially could pull up there. Obviously, we have some little lower here, which will act as resistance as you get to it. But yeah, I've been messing with this here. I mean, you see a lot of these other crappy services that have those heat maps. Well, Unusual Whales has them now too. You can see it all right in here, and I would trust this data over
I'll just
all other
let
data,
that
but
one float.
yeah,
no comment from the official employee here.
yeah. I can say certain things and I don't get in trouble.
No,
but,
I'm not gonna disagree with you. I just want.
I didn't name anybody. I didn't name anybody. I was just saying,
Ryan says those IBM opened at plus 47% again already. Those IBMs are clean, dude. Good eye. Always good eye. Wolf of My Street on Twitter. If you guys don't follow him, give him a follow as well. Smart guy, really good trader.
I do want to watch this Tesla. Let's just kind of see what happens here. I want to take a screenshot of this and we can look at it towards the end of the show, but I just kind of want to highlight some stuff on here. So like, okay, I was gonna...
Is that a ticker request or a good morning? I can never tell. But that's also a ticker, so I don't know if that's a ticker request or just you're just
probably
happy to
good
see
morning.
us. Yeah, but it's caps locked. You gotta make sure.
That's true.
Just yelling at us, hurry up and get the request. All right, I just want to kind of mark some things here, and we'll see what happens. We can come back to this, but I'm going to pop this in our chat. We'll revisit this one at the end of the show.
We have a nice move up off the open, but it's not crazy. I do want to point out, we do have heavier gamma just below us by about 20 points and 40 points with smaller positioning above. We're still in a little bit of a negative gamma zone on SPX that it's pushing through now. I'm hands off until we get a test and rejection of 75.90 to potentially put on a short to target those heavy positive gamma below. Otherwise, they can kind of squeeze through this. The positive gamma above reaching up higher toward 7,600 is kind of small, but the negative gamma is pretty deep. So right now I'm looking for market makers to buy into this move until we start tickling that 75.90 or reject firm at 75.85 here. Hands off for me for the meantime.
I got to show you yesterday where I got stopped out because you're gonna.
Oh, did you get shitted on?
I'll show you. I'll show you. So yesterday's expiration. Let's go back to that here. So I took. It was a smart short. I was looking at the negative gamma right there. Let me just zoom in a little bit here for you. It was pre that kind of data, but yeah, I was targeting that negative gamma there for a rejection, and I got wicked out. And let me just pop over to the chart here. Come right down here. It was this stupid wick,
dude,
on this green candle right there
fail.
That got me. Actually, no, it was that one right there. I think it was one of those stupid wicks there, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, you should you should see how wicks like that look on the Nasdaq relative to the ES. That's why I was saying if you're gonna start practicing scalping futures, definitely start with ES. It's a little more uniform. You can even see like the tops of these ranges. The wicks extend barely. On Nasdaq, that shit will extend 20 points just cause. That's part of the reason why I keep my stops so tight, and I'll take paper cut losses when scalping to hit on the bigger move while I get those entries. I would rather do that than sit through drawdown. Does it make sense? No, you lose about the same amount. It's just a little bit of ridiculous, nonsensical psychology.
Yeah, that's what got me yesterday. I a pretty break even there on the day though. So I mean, I scalped some calls up there. I traded in that range yesterday, but
dude, that range yesterday infuriated me. It sideways.
I kind of like the ranges.
I kind of like the ranges. Yeah, if you're scalping it tight, it can work out pretty well. Especially with the Nasdaq, it was just pinned in that range all the way to close. I was like, can we do something, please? And the answer was no. So I stopped trading well before power hour.
But yeah, it looked like a very clean setup yesterday. I was like, oh, we're gonna reject that nice negative gamma there, and then just
getting a tiny tickle of that 75.85 here. Do I have the gall? Yeah, I feel like any shorts right now are just gonna be pullback shorts, so I'm just gonna wait. And it's not the biggest volume on these small pullbacks on the Nasdaq, at least. They're not very voluminous. They're kind of small relative to the pump candle.
Ooh, that's a big boy word.
A big boy word.
He's grown up in front of us. You are grown up in front of us.
Don't worry. Any iota of intelligence that comes from me is a mirage, and I can only read because I can barely count to 5.
Hey, I mean,
I spent all my skill points in being annoying and loud.
Yeah, that's okay.
But
Somebody's
I'm damn
gotta do
good
it.
at it, baby!
I was gonna say, what's it gonna be? Me and Tucker quiet in here the whole time?
Yeah,
Like, that's not fun. That's not fun. Hey, that was pretty good.
I told you, I spent all of my skill points
Wow,
in being annoying and loud.
That was amazing, actually. That sounded
Yeah,
like
like
a cricket.
that literally sounded like it was a cricket. Oh, jeez, what did I just click?
This is the kind of stuff you're getting on the Unusual Whales Trading Show, folks.
Yeah.
Wow.
On a Friday. On the Friday. The Mondays, the Monday and Wednesdays are a little
Well, that's because
more,
Monday
you
and
know.
Wednesday we're just like
in
dragging
line.
ass, dude.
Yeah, just a little bit, All right, another update coming here in a second. Oh yeah, we are just pumping here off the open. So like, I mean, this kind of goes back to what we were looking at on that heat map. Let me just, I don't want to open a new window, new tab. Come on. This is not how my Friday's gonna go. Like, we are already, let's just kind of pop open that heat map again. I mean, you can see we're starting to kind of trend up towards that positive gamma. So this is all derived from open interest too. So just kind of keep that in mind too. Obviously things can change throughout the day, but that's a pretty powerful kind of pull we're getting there. Any move on Tesla so far, or are we just tanking still? Oh, Tesla bounced up a little bit there. You got a little bounce up there. What was our low on Tesla on the day? Our low 436. So I mean, we got really close to that put wall at 435. Very, very close. So we'll see how this continues. I don't want to keep staring at Tesla all day. Ooh, look at our update. Look at our update.
Hey, there was my concern. There's that 75.90 that I talked about. You see what I mean when that positive gamma was kind of weak. It wasn't super long. It's trailing to the negative side. So currently, fitting in line, you got to quit clicking shit, bro. I don't like, what the hell is that? Here, I'll put mine on. It's actually a little cleaner without the,
put yours on.
Without the Discord degradation. We pushed up into this, and they're starting to slowly conquer it. If they don't get a really firm rejection here, the targets are moving up. You see how this gamma is falling off toward the negative side, right at the top of essentially a little squeezy zone where market makers buy into the move. If they can conquer this, we get a new update, and that goes negative again. We're already seeing some of these positions move up. That white dot represents the last 10-minute interval. It's falling off here, staying about the same right above at 75.95. But while these are dropping, we have a big drop-off down at 75.60 as well. We're seeing positive gamma building up higher above us now. So some of the targets are moving up now. 75.40 stays strong, but it's kind of seeming like a thing of the past for the week as we're sitting 50 points above it. If they backtest 75.80, 75.75 range and hold firm, I'm gonna get baited into a long. But right now I'm keeping my eye on these two tiny last bastions of resistance before the higher gamma positioning to see if they give a good rejection to try to short. But they didn't. I mean, dude, there were no opportunities yesterday. If they just do this shit again today, we're gonna have a completely full flow stream. Because I'm not going to try to trade yesterday's price action on the show. It'll just be me getting frustrated and annoyed that we get stopped out every 10 seconds. So we'll chill. We'll chill. It's Friday. We're not giving back Wednesday's wins. We killed it on Wednesday.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Right, that's all I got on that. I'm waiting for confirmation of a harder push / waiting for a firm rejection to try to catch some downside. Otherwise, right now, sitting on my hands. The NASDAQ, I'm going to need like a 40-point pullback before I'm comfortable longing it. So we're just now 50-point pullback. So we're just chilling. We're chilling.
I got, somebody told me to go look at those now contracts that I was kind of talking about pre-market. I got to go. I don't want to look up, so I'm going to be terrified. Oh, look at that. Oh, cool. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, my goodness. Now
That's
popped hard in after hours yesterday.
That's,
Now got good after
yeah,
hours
that's-
moves. Those are now $6 in the money.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Bro.
I'd like to say that Whales probably got out. I mean, that volume carried over, but I mean, just a
It's
lot
hard
of
to
contracts
say. And
changing
a lot
hands,
of it could
but
just
man,
straight up be intradays too. Like it doesn't even necessarily have to mean that original homie closed a position, unless all of that volume came in one order. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only way I can be like, yes, changing hands is if some of these larger volume, like 528, 9,000 contracts, only one person has 9,000 contracts, right? That one person that bought all that shit days prior. That could have been some handing off, but like the smaller ones without much OI change, sometimes it's people just punting shit back and forth intraday.
Yeah, that's
that's a
funny.
move and a half.
I got these at a discount too, and
did you get stopped out of
you
them?
know, I mean, yeah, I stopped out of them.
Heartbreaking.
You know what the one? I mean, I'm not gonna hold it.
No, I feel
down 30 cents, but
when
like,
it expires in a day.
Yeah, that's.
No, that's fair. That is justified. I'm still gonna give you shit, but it's justified.
That's hurts me in the heart there. Hey, what these HPE 0 days coming in right now? Oh, this is already up. This is definitely a momentum chaser. Up 9% on the day. Yeah, I mean, Ivy's so low on those. I mean, it's a momentum chase that I can.
We're getting our first rejection of 75.95, but it is not strong yet. I'm still waiting. I gotta wait a minute. I'll be good. I'll be good. It's Friday.
Yeah, well, you usually don't trade on Fridays.
I know. Yeah. Fridays are by far statistically my worst trading days. It's not close. I don't know why.
It used to be Thursday for me.
Really? That one's like kind of random, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. It was weird. Like when I was, every day would be like pretty much green, and then just you look at my Thursdays on my like months P&Ls, just red. And I'm like, why? Like, what is it with Thursday? I don't know. That was just. I don't know. I've gotten better on Thursdays. Now it's just sporadic. Red throughout the week there usually. All right, anything? Yeah, my flow. Yeah, flow was very quiet yesterday. Very light volume for most of the day yesterday too.
We are still just chilling up and to the right currently, vibing. None of the pullbacks are big enough on the Nasdaq for me to be comfortable longing as someone who's a coward, cowardly with longs. I don't. We wait. I need a deeper for just to show what a good entry for me with my longing cowardice would be. Is a retest of this rejection here, way down here. You can see it turned into support. Let me throw a line on there. Boink. It rejected here on the itty-bitty pullback that we had off the open. Once they reclaimed, they backtested it twice and held it firm. I would want to see a backtest of it again. But the problem with that, and me being a coward, is that has happened several times on the way up. It happened again here. And it happened again up here. All of those are generally how I target shorts. I target the retest of stair steps like that. What I should get comfortable doing is longing the back tests of those. But my brain doesn't function like that. It is what it is. But every single pullback is just making another clean stair step. There's 1, 2, 3. Working on its 4th stair step up and to the right. The steps are getting a little bit smaller as we're pushing into those gamma zones, so I'm still keeping my eye on that to try to catch a bigger pullback. But right now, I would be most comfortable with a full back test of the 400s here on the
I took
Nasdaq.
a short while you were blabbing there too.
You gonna try to catch that stair step down?
Pop
that shit open.
I already got it up.
The ranges are much smaller on ES. One thing to keep in mind also. Man, that long off the open would have been great, though. See, just look at that, though, Anthony. If you can see my screen here, just look at what I mean about how uniform and clean MES is relative to the Nasdaq. You see how your stair steps have like perfect wick touches?
Yeah.
The Nasdaq wicks through them.
Yeah,
And a lot of people place their stops there. So whenever I have a stop, if it's not too wide of a range, I'll put it a little bit below that level. Because sometimes NASDAQ likes to say fuck you and just give a little dip below, just dip the toes, just the tip, stop you out, and then it'll just run, and then you'll be pissed off that you didn't widen your stop. But yeah, that's what I mean. But you can
weird.
I think you will eventually get more comfortable holding for wider ranges.
Getting a little moved on. I'm just taking a little quick scalpy poo here because I want to wait for that update. I'm just trailing this candle. I'll take. Oh, we're up $10 on it. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm just trailing the same candle. Up 10, up 10. Because I want to wait for that update.
Before anyone says anything about making $10 on a scalp.
There we go.
Gains.
Look at that. Look at that nice little scalpy poo. Little scalpy
right
poo.
To that
this is only
step.
one. This is only one contract too. I mean.
And as you can see, the NASDAQ didn't make the same move, and it's already about to set a new high. I'm still in waiting mode. On
I could have held. I probably would have targeted that 20-day, but I don't like trading when that update's about to hit. That's kind of my thing. But
fair.
I like that.
That's fair.
But I like that setup because that net call premium on SPY dropped. The net call premium on the 0 days dropped, but it's back up again. We're getting hit with calls here. I think we're gonna get a update. Yeah, I hate missing the entries waiting for a update in 1 minute because you might get a. Hey, I'll
we
take
will
10,
be getting
20
1
bucks.
minute Periscope in the very near future, folks, and shit's gonna get crazy on the show because I'm gonna overtrade like a mofo when I get these 1 minute updates.
I think that'll help me actually hold these more because then you can actually see that update and because like I mean you're coming up to an update. This is 10-minute. This data's 10 minutes old, so I mean like
and it'll give you a little confluence. I think it'll make you more comfortable with those holds I keep trying to get you to do.
Yeah. I mean I
he already scalped short. He was in and out for just a couple of points there, Jose.
Yeah, so don't
shadow trade. There's a delay.
There's
a delay between what we say and what you hear, and given how I scalp anyway, my trades last a couple minutes tops, and my stop outs are seconds. I keep my stops really tight, so I might be out of a trade before you even hear me enter it. It's very possible. I would say pay more attention to what we're doing rather than trying to mimic it in real time, because that delay can absolutely gape. All right, we have.
They're moving that. They're moving that
it's
positioning
still moving up.
Look at
I'm
this.
sitting on my hands. I'm sitting on my hands, and we'll have Joe named Joe joining in just about 10 to 15 minutes here. When he's here, I'm just gonna let him do whatever the hell he wants. We'll just kind of let him go over what he wants to go over. If he wants to talk about any of his trading strategies, any of his filters, etc. And I will not trade during that because, unlike Anthony, I'm going to be polite and let a Joe say his piece. Now with Anthony, I will talk shit. Are you going for the breakout play?
I'm already.
Let's see. Yeah, your stop's got to be below that last low, but I'm gonna let you do your thing. I'll shut the hell up. My strategy is very cowardly. And it just is.
Hey,
it works for me. I do what I do.
I was gonna say your strategy works for you. That's all that matters. I'm gonna probably let these sit for a while. I'm kind of targeting up here at that. I'm gonna kind of target that 76.10 area. We're already kind of popping up a little. Oh, never mind. 76. Oh,
what are
I
those
was like,
TDHs on your charts? I don't trade with any of that shit. I just keep my moving averages. And
that's just your trading day high, pre-market high.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
High,
okay. Gotcha.
Yep, nothing spectacular. Just so I know where the highs are. I think I saw Tyler talking about that in the chat, and I was like, that's because I typically mark the lines every day, but I'm like, hey, this is cool. I don't have to actually mark the lines now. I can just there's a filter that will pull them. So
we do got
that's what I like.
I don't think anything about any of those coins. I didn't even know people still talked about Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. Are those still a thing? Like, is that still a thing?
Yes, they are.
It is below 10 cents again. Dude, the Elon pump and dumps on that shit were so crazy. Like, I think it pumped almost $1 once, didn't it? Like, that was bad shit.
It was the SNL. It was the SNL night when he was on SNL.
Yeah.
The thing pumped right when it got to it, right when he started. It was done.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
pop my stop up a little bit here. I'll probably get
Oh, they're
stopped
gonna get
here,
you
but
right
that's
there.
fine.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll wait for a
Couple
better
bucks here
entry.
and
That
there,
was
that's
that was kind of a chase. That was kind of a chase. I wanted that 75.90 for an entry. I didn't think we were gonna get that. I like seeing that positioning up. I'll re-enter to the upside here when we get another one. But hey, we are up
$15.
$8 on
$8.
the day. 'Cause of that
Let's
slippage.
go.
Because of that slippage. I have to get used to that slippage.
Yeah, the market
still, too,
exits
I'm
are something
like-
that'll tickle your fancy in a bad way here and there.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get you comfortable with wider, because the way I scalp isn't really possible on MES. It's not possible on ES because the ranges don't work the same way as they do with the NASDAQ. They're tighter. And so if you're gonna scalp the way I scalp on NQ, but on the S&P, you have to size really heavy to get similar results until we get those bigger moves. Once we get the wider ranges playing out, ES can be extremely lucrative or extremely losses oriented, the same way the NASDAQ can. It's just less bipolar. And since I'm bipolar as shit, I hang out with the NASDAQ. It's a love-hate relationship.
Looks like Tucker dropped a request here from the offsides yank from X here. Let's take a peek here. OSS. Tucker, did you drop the correct contract?
117.20 call.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
dropped the right one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take a peek at it here. I'd probably say I'm not seeing anything specifically interesting on this one. You just see all these kind of random volume spikes. There are 80 contracts, 50 contracts, 83 there, and I'm just kind of looking at that volume and open interest change here. I mean, it seems like it's carrying over, but it's too small of size to kind of know if it's the same person. Then you have a big 193 there on 522 and only 50 carrying over. Yeah, there's not enough going on specifically on this chain. Let's just see if there's anything else on it though. OSS, I don't think I've ever traded this name ever.
One Stop Systems.
Yeah,
That sounds like a Gotham villain corporation.
it sounds like a One Stop Systems. Then whatever you want. Oh god, that's gonna come back and haunt me, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's gonna come back and haunt me.
You just made a mistake for the future soundbite.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I'm gonna I know I've talked about it 50,000 times over the last half a year and haven't done it, but I will be cleaning up the other corner of my office to move my situation around. And I'm gonna get a bigger.
You were saying that before we started.
I know. I need to get a bigger desktop so I can get the keyboard size Stream Deck, so I can have soundboard transitions, everything all on one page instead of having to turn the fucking page. That's gonna be nice, but not yet.
Is there like a soundboard for us to hear it when you play them?
I will find a way. We'll find a way. As you know, getting this set up and keeping clean stream quality and clean cameras has been the biggest pain in the ass. A lot of other shows will use like Zoom for it, and it does make more sense. The problem is Zoom's video stream quality is dog shit, and everywhere else's video stream quality is dog shit. So we use Discord for that and a completely different service for the microphone and camera.
Dude,
it sucks.
I've asked you how many times, like, how to do this stuff. Like, I'm like, dude, this stuff is just, like, so over my head. It should just be a quick stream now. Like, I want to stream.
Bro, with how popular streaming has been in all facets of interests on the internet, you would think we would have streaming services and software that function very user-friendly. We don't. Like, there's Streamlabs that has an okay rendering of OBS that makes it a little more user-friendly. But even then, half the plugins won't work for all platforms. But
I had issues with them.
Dude, it makes no damn sense. We should just have push one button, everything works at this point. I was promised hoverboards, guys. What the fuck?
Can't even get a thing to stream to multiple platforms. The interesting thing, so back to OSS quick here. You are sitting on that put wall, which would act as support right now. Your call wall's all the way up at 20. So, you know, I mean, you could see a little support here. I'm just not seeing much for flow to back it up, and just kind of looking at that highest open interest here too. Your latest, I mean, this looks like it's a short put here to me, the 12.5 put. just kind of the way that it's been moving so far. I didn't really get any context within that flow. How about calls? How about these?
Call
These
me!
have been sitting here since like 5-8. Yeah, I mean, it's not the cleanest flow where you can like kind of assume a direction there. I'd almost like the gamma profile more on this, and typically that's what I've been kind of doing too. Like if I don't find any flow, I'll look at that gamma profile because gamma's a very interesting, tool to use because there's a lot of info that you can get on it. But yeah, I mean, you're sitting on the put wall right now, so I mean that's that. If you're looking for calls, I mean that could be a potential bounce spot here. Again, potential doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to happen. And I'm kind of looking at that. The gamma decay over time here, it is negative. I don't know why it's saying it's negative value here, but it's green. I don't know. But it's on those kind of shorter names. You don't get a ton of hits on multiple strikes, so that could be it also. Let me pop back over here quick. Yeah, you can just see, I mean, it's a 20 strike, 17, and 12.5 here. That's getting kind of most of your hits there, your expirations. Yeah, I'm looking at that 821 expiration. If you're looking for longs, I'd probably kind of focus on that expiration. Looks like the 618 and the 717, maybe a little more downward potential movement here. I mean, your net gamma is on the put side here, and I believe that's 821 is your highest. Yeah, so I mean, just kind of be a little cautious with that one right now, and even kind of going back. Oops, I don't want to go to the menu. Just
Offsides
looking at
Yank
the
followed up with sincerely appreciate the time and insight. Been learning a lot from you guys. Hell yeah, man! Thanks for coming and giving us shit to look at.
Yeah,
Can't
please
do it without
ask
you guys.
Yeah, please throw us requests
because
I mean it's yeah. I can't listen to Tucker and Nick all day. I don't know what I'd do. And yeah, just kind of looking at the net premiums here too. I mean, there's not a lot going on this name. I mean, you get your big kind of upside net call premium. You get a little move up there.
Wait, that's actually
drop off.
That one right there is actually a catch. That was an end of day after hours pamp into 506. Some of those calls hit on 505 and transferred over to 506. You can see the call premium drop on 506. That's probably because of profit taking. Interesting. Did they short the top? That'd be nuts.
Yes, they did.
Yo!
Yes, they did. Oh, wow.
Brutal.
Absolute wow. Oh, that one, maybe not.
Yeah, they bought into the momentum at end of day and held into the next day, sold off. Then we saw that 17.5 short. Somebody wheeled this. I think they bought calls into close before that pump, sold their calls on the pump, and shorted higher strike calls.
Let's just go right here. Let's
and they're expired already, right? Those calls expired.
Yeah, they were
they
14,
banked.
Yeah, 14 days ago.
Bro, they banked.
Dude,
Bro, they banked.
Some of these people that put this stuff on, like, you just go back and see how it performed, and you're just like, how did you even like fathom that in your head, like to come up with that strategy, like with that? And it's just like to like, and I mean, it's somebody knows something, because why would you be selling calls on a massive pump like that?
I don't know how they get out of bed in the morning with those massive balls.
Yeah, it just
and
my mind. I mean,
notably, those calls that they shorted went in the money the next session.
Yep.
Yo.
Well, I mean, that's even. I gotta go back to it because it's gonna bother me for a little bit. Like the now calls here, like if we're just for the sake of the. Oh, actually, you know what? If we put this to the 30-day, it might kind of give us a like.
Just
okay.
a fucking pump.
If this will, and it's a big if, just because you have a lot of kind of spikes in there, it doesn't look like anything was that size there. I mean, like, did this person potentially know about the CRS, all the software earnings this week? I mean, oh god, why am I?
The Upsides Yank followed up with, "I tell you what, it's easy to get out of bed with the size of my stones, bro. I feel that." I feel that deep down in my plums. All right, I'm
geez,
gonna flash a little something real quick. I gotta get this out of my system before our guest joins us in a bit here. Struggle busting the entire
Drink
time.
break after this, man.
You're gonna go get shit faced already? What the hell, bro?
Yeah, after looking at those nows, man.
All right, I'm gonna flip it to no camera just in case you look at any of the gamma buildup, so they can actually at least see it a little bit, even if I'm not here to zoom it. I'll be back in just a minute or so, or 10 minutes. You know, man, I gotta go. It might be like a 10-minute piss. We'll find out.
One of those. So Tucker, what's up, buddy?
I'm making some Nick as a maid.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
we need to make him pick his. How is he saying that dress hasn't came yet? Like,
I don't know,
Amazon,
man.
I think he's pulling our he's pulling our legs. These Reddits are kind of interesting, nice. Yeah, a little wider bid ask spread on these Reddits here, but nice IV spot does fill up the ask here. These look like a short termer, probably a momentum chase here. I'm gonna sneak these here. Yeah, these are interesting. 7 days out. I don't like swinging those weeklies over the weekend though, just because that theta can really get you here. Let me just pop this over here. Oh, hey, is that? Did I hear a ding? Is that Joe hopping on? There we
he's
go.
On the Discord.
He's got to come into River. Yeah, you're gonna have to tell him to come into Riverside.
Yeah, I mean, he can't hear us.
Let me. I don't know if Nick has to set up another camera or like how he has to do it. So
yeah, Joe join this.
All right. Thank God. I'm gonna make Joe talk all the time. I'm not gonna talk. He can do all the talking. I can have a Friday to kind of trade a little bit. Yeah, these Reddits do look interesting though. Probably a momentum chase.
Nick?
Up about 2% on the day.
Or Joe,
He said it was gonna be like a 10-minute piss. I think he's pissing out of something
it's Joe.
that's not.
I hear breathing.
You hear breathing.
Yeah, you breathing
What's
deeper.
up, Joe? What's up,
Good
Joe?
morning.
Hello.
Yeah, Nick went to take a little potty break, so it is just us right now.
Yeah, we'll have a.
Okay.
There's no.
I don't know if he has
don't
to
worry about it.
set up your camera a little bit or
He
so
probably has,
on.
yeah.
These look interesting. 3% out of the money. Let's take a peek here. 3142. Fills an ask. Little IV drop, but it's kind of looking here. We shouldn't even tell Nick that Joe joined. Just wait for Nick to come back and then just surprise.
Sure, I mean that's not hard to do. But he'll see
He's
it
not a hard one
immediately.
to surprise. I don't know. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't pay attention.
No, that's my job.
He doesn't pay attention. Yeah. I mean, you don't either. Oh, I hear him talking in the back, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't mute himself.
Yelling at his dog, probably. Yelling at his dog or cat, probably.
Or his girlfriend. All things that most men yell at.
Chase. Let's see. Yeah, flow's kind of quiet. What are these few twos? 112 days out. 43. Yeah. I don't like that long dated flow. Oh, earnings were just yesterday. Long dated Microsoft's coming in, 21% out of the money. Just look at that previous open interest. Yeah, these are definitely openers. Just kind of glance around in here.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, look who's back. Look who's back.
From outer space.
So, Tucker, we're not going to say anything. We're going to see how long it takes them for him to notice. We're going to...
I don't know how stupid you think I am.
He's not that stupid.
Yeah. I am pretty damn stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Go ahead and finish up whatever read you're on, and then I will do a little.
I am not even doing a
schmazzy.
read, so go
Oh,
ahead.
you're literally just sitting there doing nothing. All right.
Well, I was looking at them. We were looking at Microsoft there. We had some Microsofts there.
All right.
There.
I gotta go into studio mode. Dude, I hate OBS 99% of the time. I'm gonna be honest. Where is it? You know what? Who cares? I'm just gonna do it this way. Why the hell not? Hold on. Oh no, it actually worked. Dope. Studio mode's cool. Why didn't you tell me studio mode was cool, Tucker? You dick.
I think they updated it recently, actually.
Did they? Now, how I'm gonna make this work on the other screen says yet to be determined, but everybody. I'm going to see if that's saved. It did, but not my camera. We are joined now by Unusual Whales affiliate, a Joe named Joe. Really good trader, excellent flow reader, and I've never had him on the show before, so I'm pretty excited. How you doing, man?
Good morning.
Oh, he sounds crisp and clear, too, which is good, because I always have audio issues when I have other folks on. None of that. None of that. Oh, he's got the Unusual Whales mug like an absolute king.
Attaboy.
Available from unusualwhales.com/whatever the merch you wear.
Hey, you remember you gave me shit for promoting the merch thing the one time, Nick?
Yeah, I did.
Because I said something about it. You're like, ooh, look at you promoting the merch. I'm like, oh, there you go.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. You gave me shit for promoting something. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna. Look at the merch site. You're like, oh, who looks at that? I'm like, okay, dude.
Do you remember that like really long Creator Spring link? Back in the day, it was like 40 characters long for the store. But yeah, man, Joe, we like to keep things really loosey-goosey, but if there's any kind of general structure, anything you wanted to personally go over, feel free, man. I will hand you the floor, and you can do whatever the hell you want. If you want to break down any of your filters, any of your styles, feel more than free. One thing on that annoying-ass Discord server, if you're going to do a screen share, you'll have to do it in there. I know it's really annoying that we have it split between two things, but it is the best solution for the time being.
Whatever works.
So whenever you're ready, you can pop that over, and then we can start doing whatever the hell you want, man. You're the guest. You run the show now.
Screen share, okay. All right. So, hi, I'm Joe. I'm a trader.
Hi, Joe.
So most of my trading style is very like swing oriented. And specifically what I like to look for the most are low IV contracts that are being opened. And I generally operate under the assumption that there are considerably better traders in the world than I. And I use Unusual Whales to try and find those trades so that I don't, I can, essentially try to follow along, or at least make an educated guess as far as whether or not I want to join in. And the introduction of Mr. Whale has just been incredibly easy and makes everything so much easier, in my opinion, when it comes to using filters in Unusual Whales. So if you are a viewer of this stream and you do not have an Unusual Whale subscription, I will say you can get 10% off using code Joe at unusualwhales.com.
He pulled the same thing as me, and you don't give him shit for it. And you don't give him.
Well, you're the
shit
permanent
for it,
host.
Man.
You're the permanent host.
He did it smooth,
Yeah,
though. He did smooth.
He did it real smooth.
I did too.
Nothing about you smooth, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Anthony and Smooth don't go anywhere near each other in a sentence. Not in that context, anyway. So would you say?
Except for his bare ass.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know
You
how
know
you've
that's
seen
smooth.
that, Tucker. I don't know how you've seen that.
I got a good guess.
We got our methods.
So, Joe, would you say, because when Anthony and I think we have a pretty similar flow style, except he's probably a little better with long term than I am, but mine are usually, I'm looking at weekly flow, monthlies here and there. Would you say you look a little bit more toward several months out when you're looking for flow to dissect?
No, I keep it pretty much pretty close. I mean, I don't really like to swing anything with more like 90 or 100 days out, just because the premium gets to be, start to grow quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm really looking for something like, I'm looking for specifically contracts with 25% or under IV that are $200 or less. And
Keep
as
that risk
far as
management kind of tight there. A little safer.
Right. And I mean, a lot of people don't understand, or they do understand and they just don't care, but options go to zero, right? So they're not shares, it's not equity. You're not buying into a company, you're buying into a contract, and these things go to zero all the time. So I think one of my main focuses on my own trading when it comes to options specifically is risk and understanding that contracts will go to zero the next day if it has to, and understanding that that's part of the risk. So when I'm entering trades, I'm not going any more than maybe 5% of my portfolio in any options contract at any given time.
Fair enough. I think that's a really smart thing. People do a lot of times talk about percentage sizing of portfolio, and since I scalp futures, it's a little less that. I struggle to explain to people how I do profit targets and stuff like that with futures. But with futures, I just kind of go profit and loss, just raw numbers, like what I'm comfortable with, what I'm uncomfortable with. And with options, that's definitely something you have to keep in mind, because all of the Greeks are in some way or form, unless you're getting the move in your direction right away, they're kind of working against you in a way that you don't have with futures.
Correct. And I think a lot of people tend to think that because they're leveraged and because you can make such a high percent return, they fail to understand that you can also make a very high percent loss.
Yes.
Which is everything when it comes to options. So.
Yes. Everything you put into a long, be it a put or a call, can disappear on you.
Correct.
So I see you've got your Superflow dashboard open, and it is stacked. I'm going to flip us over to that. Absolute thing of beauty there. My dashboards are pretty simple comparatively. So I've got you up there, Joe. If you want to kind of just real quick rundown on how your Superflow set up, because it looks like you've got a lot of specific screeners.
Right. So it's actually a bit more simple than what it may appear to be. But so on the top, I've got long calls, and on the middle, I've got long puts. And then I used the option screener to filter those out. So I've got if you just go to the regular option screener, let me try and find that here. They have all the presets at the top, and these are all based on, what Unusual Whales believes is unusual. It's also, they're all predetermined, so you don't have to worry about trying to get the right filter set, the right whatever. You can just go ahead and use these. They're all at the top. So in my super dashboard, I have basically the high priced, high premium, unusual contracts for calls, and then the low cost filter for calls, and then I just flipped them and did the same for puts underneath. And then in the lower left corner is my low IV scanner. So that's grabbing literally everything under a 25% IV, 80% ask, 50,000 premium with a size under, or a spot under 2 and a size over 50. And those are the contracts that I like to see when they get opened, and I can decide if I'm going to go ahead and swing. And then the bottom right is just basically a loosey-goosey earnings screener looking for opening contracts.
I dig it. Which would you say of these filters is kind of your bread and butter?
The low IV in the bottom corner. The top four, I'm basically just watching for anything that seems crazy. Like 13 million going into Microsoft calls. That's a little nuts right there, right? Pricey contracts, but even with this dive, they're still in it. People still buying MU calls, 1,015 calls right there for almost 9 million. That's a little weird. But these mostly I just use to kind of gauge like where's big money going. Is it going to be in calls and puts? Are we in semiconductors or software or what's going on? But the bottom corner, my bread and butter is the swing.
Commodity Broker on Twitter says Joe is a swinger and gets paid. That rocks.
Okay.
He's like, I'll take it.
Unusual whales.
Yeah. You gotta know, it is a little surprising the kind of leeway that the bigwigs at UW let me have on this show. I'd just be saying shit sometimes.
It's terrifying.
And then I actually, I didn't pull it up, so I'm not gonna get into it too much. But I also use the Unusual Whales API to pull the low IV contracts before they hit the site, and then put them into a Google spreadsheet, and then that allows me to also see like, because the API picks up a lot of contracts that don't necessarily hit the site, because after everything is filtered, after everything is made to look all pretty and everything, sometimes by the time the information gets to the site, it's not still within the filter requirements. So it
oh yeah,
sometimes
and that
it
happens
just
in
doesn't
real
always
time
get picked
too.
up.
So if
Right.
if you have an interval flow filter, if something comes in that initially showed as part of those filters and then changes over the next few minutes, it'll completely drop off your filter. So that's actually a really cool API use case. We'll have to set something up, pick your brain about that a little bit in the future, I think.
Right. And then other than that, I day trade occasionally futures. I'm doing a lot during the day, so I don't have a lot of time to sit in front of charts in the afternoon. So, and then trade shares. Like I like to swing trade shares on some breakout setups. But other than that, as far as like options and bread and butter, low IV swings, opening contracts is what I'm looking for mostly.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is there any kind of criteria that if it meets your requirements usually, is there any kind of outlier piece of data that makes you change your mind, even if it hits your filter and meets most criteria?
I mean, I'll look at anything that comes through just to check it out, but yeah, so like for instance, these AGNCs, these are 13% in the money. I'm not gonna look at that too much. These PBAs, I don't even know what that is, but they're 11% out the money, so that would be maybe something I'd be interested in taking a look at. Pretty low cost, but these look very sold to. What is this?
Can you copy the link to that contract and drop it in the Discord? That is definitely a bug on the volume. Awesome.
You're saying that's not normal. You're saying that's not normal. Got it.
No, that's definitely the volume, the net volume area is exploding into the net premium. That's
See if I can fix
beautiful.
it with like 3 days out. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's funny as all hell.
But as far as like disqualifying, I mean, everything is like very on case basis, right? So like everything requires a look, and if it's something that I'm willing to go into a little bit further, then yeah. But I wouldn't say there's any like there's no like hard and fast rule. Like if it says this, I'm not gonna do it.
Fair enough.
I guess I'll give anything a chance that comes through that filter.
I like it. Now, is there anything in general that you'd like to go over for the homies in chat, or do you just want to kind of like tackle some flow reviews here and there?
I think AI is probably a little bit more. People should definitely be paying attention to AI and where it's going. Whether or not how you feel on that is, in my opinion, like not something that really matters at this point. Because if what's going to happen, if the money that's coming into AI is going to stay, things could get pretty crazy. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for a lot of maybe some small time investors to grab, maybe shares in some companies. You could be looking at like some of the big ones like Google, Microsoft. Those are going to be some bigger players in my opinion. But I think we're at a point right now where like AI could definitely make people a lot of money if we go forward.
Yeah, even the people who are really gung ho onto the bubble idea, and I'm someone who thinks a lot of the money going into it is going to stay, but it feels unsustainable from these big funds and institutions that are investing so much into some of these data centers, et cetera. Even the biggest bears on AI have the sentiment that there's going to be a blow off top moment, not dissimilar to the .com bubble.
Right. And I think we might get that. I think when expectations come in a little bit more about like what the actual short-term return is going to be on this long-term investment in AI, we might get that blow off in the pullback. But that's going to be, in my opinion, an opportunity to slap the ask and to go.
We do like slapping the ask on the show. So if there's nothing you want to deep dive just outright raw, if you'd be down, we have a couple of just general ticker requests. If you could just kind of go through a little bit of your workflow when you look at one specific ticker to see if there's anything special happening in its options field, that'd be dope if you're down.
Sure. What do we got?
Energy is the top request right now. XLE from Belmondor. Wondering if there's any flow today on the energy sector spider fund.
Yeah, there is. There's lots
Baby, let's go.
So the XLE 59 calls for August. I like it because it's got some time on it, 84 days. If you're unaware, anything that slips below the 30 days to expiration, theta really starts to pick up. So when I see something with 34 days on it, or 84 days, excuse me, that tells me that they're buying time because they expect something to come. This is 92% leaning on the ask with a low IV around 27% and 2.3 million. The only thing that maybe would lead me to question this flow at the moment is the overall flow for XLE at the moment is only 0.3% of the 30-day volume. So I know we just opened an hour ago, I get that. But come the end of the day, this might be something that I would be a little bit more curious at the end of the day to see, A, if they're still in it, and B, what the overall volume on the ticker is. If we're over 1, then this would be more of a something for me to consider going into. Also, the zero multi on it and the low pricing is also nice. As far as the flow is concerned, it looks like it opened up and it hit on the bid, and then when the volume started coming in, it flipped to the ask and it just rode the ask all the way up. So as the spread expanded and contracted, it still stayed on the ask. Just kept adding contracts. So I like that. The XLE 59 calls for 821. Something to put on my radar.
Pin it, Anthony. Add it to the list. We're gonna track that sumbitch.
Oh, you want me to do it? Isn't that Tucker's job? Isn't that Tucker's job? Why am I doing Tucker's job? What was the contract again? Sorry, I was trying to XLE. Why did I say KLE? Jeez.
XLE 59 calls, 821.
XLE 821 59 call. Got it.
I'd be a little curious about the XLE 60 calls for September as well. Mostly because of the open interest is higher than the current volume on this candle. But if that open interest is 20 20,000 tomorrow, that'd be a pretty strong indication that these were opening contracts and not someone closing this position it off.
So this is kind of the situation where you'd want to see an open interest carryover to confirm.
Correct.
I hear someone plugging away back there. Who's typing?
I also like to put out the net premium to 14 days out and just kind of get a broader overview of what like XLE has been doing as far as premiums are concerned. And it's just right off the top of what I'm looking at is I'm just day after day of call premium increases. There was this day of short or put premium increases, but every day after that has been call premiums. I'm curious as to what this put premium was, if it's even still there, or if they bounce. So that would be 520, and switch over to historical volume and go 14 days out. And this candle right here would have been the candle for the 520s. Let's see what it is that they were looking at. So it looks like possibly longing these puts at 180. I'm going to sort by premium to see where the big money went. The big one here at a hundo on the 58 puts. Let's see if it's still there.
Oof.
It is still there.
That thing pumped.
It's still there, and they're up. They're almost, they're up 100% at least currently on these puts. So with that being said, where did my thing go? So if we're looking at net premium for the last 14 days, and I'm seeing all these calls heading up day over day over day, but this big spike in put premium is still here, and it's profitable, but we're still seeing calls on the way down. I would watch this contract and watch for a very large amount of volume to be exiting this contract. And then I would look to pull the trigger on those 60s or the 59s, or whichever one it was. It was the 59s, yeah. So I'd watch these XLE 58 puts for 618. I'd watch for high volume. It's only got 20 days left. So if they're going to cash out, they're going to be cashing out soon. And then I would look to pull the trigger on the 59s.
So kind of just gauging that confluence between a longer hold, downside position, getting out to kind of match the longs that you saw come in on those 59s.
Right.
All right, folks, we're going to keep Joe as long as he'll stay. If you guys have more flow requests, be it a straight-up contract or you want him to do what he did with XLE on something you're more interested in, feel free to drop it in, and we'll let him abuse you from his throne for a while longer.
Huh? What the hell?
So, hey, Nick, you remember those HPE 0 days that we saw earlier in the day?
Yeah.
You don't want to look at them right now. You do not want to look
Are they
at them
pumped?
right now.
You should take a look.
Yeah. Just a little bit. They went from 56. They're up at 230 right now. So, yeah. Yeah, just a little intraday move on those. Just a little intraday move.
That was one of the first ones we even looked at today, too. That's frustrating.
Yep. I found a good BE short put potentially here, since we're speaking about energy.
shorts.
Potentially.
You just said the magic letters. B.
These are 20 days out. They're 39% out of the money. So, I mean, kind of right away, that's catching my eye. That's pretty far out of the money. And then with Joe, when he was talking about the XLEs potentially being bullish, they were getting all the call premium in there. These being 39% out of the money, 20 days, and just kind of looking at the Greeks on these too. Let's pop this down here. Look at your theta to your delta here. These are going to depreciate very quickly. And being 39% out of the money, that's pretty far out of the money. And just kind of looking at that tape, though the tape's not the cleanest, but look at the fills are just kind of all over, but it's a pretty wide bid-ask spread here. It is filling more on the bid, though. I kind of like it's not the cleanest, but I would still lean short on these here, even though it's giving that ascending fill there. Just based on that contract being 39% out of the money, pretty far, shorter term expiration, really high theta on those, barely a delta. Obviously, if you have the XLE calls to kind of go with that, that's kind of another data point there that I would use as well.
And that really inflated implied volatility. Like he said,
Yeah.
there's heavy theta as well. Just the
Yep.
amount of value that contract will lose over
Yeah.
time, all else equal. Meaning, if the stock trades sideways, this is going to lose significant value day over day. It looks like almost 23 cents per day is going to fall off of that on sideways directionality.
And you'll need about a $4 move to make up for
Right.
1 day of theta. And then if you have the weekend coming, I like seeing these on the Friday when you're coming into that weekend, because you have that 2 days of theta decay where that price isn't even moving, but the contracts are depreciating in real time. So I mean, just for the sake of the conversation, if BE, let's just say we close at 270.86 and open at 270.86 there, you're gonna lose. It was about 44 cents on those contracts, and those contracts are priced at 201. So I mean, you're going to be down to the 160s already. And I mean, 39%, that's a big drop. Because again, like you were saying, when you're seeing the put sells here, like I say neutral to bullish, because again, that price doesn't have to move at all as long as BE does not close below 165 here. This whale will see profit.
Yeah, I like
I
seeing
like
those
these.
really high IV coming in more bid side, and like you said, even though that bid ask spread is crazy wide compared to some of the other flow we've looked at today, I would lean sold to open as well. And if you see right after those big orders, we actually get a little bit of a drop in the implied volatility as well as they're filling.
Yep.
Not a guarantee in any way, shape, or form, but that adds to the confluence a little bit as that IV drops as they come in. We did get one specific request, Joe, if you don't mind. Dave Sanders on YouTube is asking what the criteria for your favorite filter is.
Yeah, my favorite filter would be my low IV filter, and the criteria for that is as follows: 80% ask as a minimum, calls and puts, no ETFs or indices, 50,000 minimum premium, 50 minimum size, 2 for a maximum spot, minimum DTE 1, and under the Greeks, IV max 0.25, so that's 25% max IV on a contract, disabling cross trades, and I want volume over open OI, size over OI, excluding deep in the money. And I do that just because I don't want in the money contracts, but if I click out the money only, as price fluctuates, it's going to end up filtering out at the money contracts as they slip in and out of money. So I leave that off and I only exclude deep in the money. And then I only want single leg contracts, and I intentionally click hide the expired, but that's just personal preference.
Fair enough. And so the deep in the money, what is the main reason? Because I'm the same way, and we all have different reasons. I imagine it's probably the same. But why do you exclude deep in the money specifically?
Mostly because when, in my opinion and in my experience, when deep in the money contracts are being traded, it's by shareholders, and they're using it to offset risk or offset different parts of their portfolio, or maybe they're already up so far on shares and they want to just try and collect premium from the in the money contracts. And if it tanks, great. If not, they're getting their shares called, right? So I think, to sum that up, I guess there would be, in my opinion, a broader range of strategies that could be used on in the money contracts. And I'm looking more for a narrow directional trade. So excluding that, kind of filters out the noise that I don't want to look at. Plus, they're usually expensive, especially on some higher valued stocks, and that automatically excludes them out of my risk.
Beautifully said. Oh, your chart looks way cooler than mine on site.
I'm watching this Oracle. There's Oracle's pushing the past 2 days. Had a nice pivot here. I like pivots. Pivots being like a line in the sand, right, with price. So I'm looking at the Oracle daily chart, and I can't really find the drawings.
Yeah, they're alphabetical for horizontal, but I will say our charts on site definitely need some TLC. Definitely in the pipeline, just not a priority with all the cool shit they're working on with gamma positioning, etc.
Right. But so I'm looking at this chart and I'm seeing that there's a pivot right here, price hitting a line, pushing through. Didn't really have the volume that I'd be looking for, like a big volume spike like this, but it did have more volume than average to go above, and now it's distributing to the upside. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that there's a breakout, and I don't know if I can have other indicators on here, but there's also the daily 200 moving average, which came in right between these two candles. So it broke this pivot and then pushed up higher. So now it's above its daily 200. Is interesting to me, and I like to see this big push out. And the reason I'm looking at that is going back over here, I saw Oracle 300 calls. Now this is a ridiculously priced contract. Like, I don't expect anybody to, unless you've got, a decent amount of money, right, and you're willing to lose $1,500 a contract. Probably not the contract that a lot of people would take, but this is another reason why I like watching these tickers, right, and watching these premiums. So again, it's not a huge amount of premium, but I've been watching the chart, and now I'm seeing money come into these contracts. So while this contract may not be something that I'd be willing to take, maybe I'd be willing to pick up a share or two of Oracle instead. Or maybe I'd be willing to trade maybe something a little bit out the money, like more out the money with more time, because getting out the money, you're going to lower your premium costs, you're going to lower your risk, but at the same time, expose yourself to any continued upside that it might have. So, and a lot of that's going to come down to like Greeks and what you're willing to risk and how much you're willing to like sit through some red if you have to. But I also like to trade shares, and I like to swing trade shares. So seeing Oracle break out here, plus some money come through, and then look at the net premium just skyrocketing yesterday and today. Puts jumping off a cliff yesterday, a little bit today, picking up. Maybe somebody's trying to pick up a pullback, right? But it's been quiet for the last 2 weeks, and then just yesterday and today we're exploding. And we have earnings coming up for Oracle on June 16th. So that is definitely something that piques my interest right there. Might not be willing to put $1,500 on the contract. I might be willing to put, grab 2 or 3 shares and see where it goes.
Beautiful. And also, Joe, feel free to use any charting software you want, just to make it easy for you if you like looking at stuff like that. You don't have to worry about using our charts for the show itself if you don't want to. But my question is, I'm just straight intraday for the most part, and honestly, even when I was full-time trading before I took a position at Unusual Whales, I barely looked at charts. I was just straight up raw flow, and now that I do chart quite a bit, it's almost always on a sub 5-minute time frame because I'm just looking for these intraday moves for scalping futures, occasionally SPY and SPX. Do you usually charge Jesus? Do you usually chart for those inflection points, the breakouts that you try to swing with shares? Is the 1 day kind of where you live?
Yeah. On swing trades, I don't. Very rarely will I look at a swing trade setup on something shorter than the 4 hour. And one of the reasons I like using the 4 hour is just because it includes the aftermarket hours. But the daily, in my opinion, is where that's where the line is drawn. That's where the opening price is drawn. That's where the closing price is drawn. And in my opinion, those are like, you hear a lot of people talking about trading, the first 2 hours and power hour, and anything between that is irrelevant, because where the market opens and where the market closes is where the big money is going, in my opinion. So yeah, when it comes to swing trading, especially on like low IV stuff or shares or whatever, daily chart is like exactly where I'm going to live.
Beautiful. We did get one specific contract request as well that could be good, and I feel bad we ignored the homie earlier, and he requested it again. The CIFR $24 call for July 17. Kunal from Twitter wants your thoughts on that specifically.
July 17th?
Yes, sir.
CIFR 24. So I assume they are talking about the large amount of volume that came through on the 11th. Looks 60% leaning on the ask. That's a big IV. You're looking at 103% IV. They're, let me just pull up a chart here. Okay. Interesting. They looked, one, they're already up. So actually they're already up. So they came in here with an average of 259, and these contracts peaked at 445 yesterday, 470 the day before. So they're already up quite a bit, and we're seeing these incremental drops in open interest the day after day. So that, in my opinion, tells me that they're taking small chunks. They're selling small chunks of this large position, this 10,000 contract position. So as Cipher Digital pushed up there, as it pushed up over that pivot, you can see it right there. Maybe you can't. Trend line right here. Come on. There we go. So, and you could, right there is essentially the pivot, the breakout, the retest, and then the push up. Okay. So this is where they were taking, this was the big day, and they've been adding. So the 11th is when they got in, right? So that would have been right about here. This would have been the 11th. So they wrote it up. They held through here, and now they're taking profit as it's breaking out. So to answer your question, my opinion on this, the position is already here. They are taking small profits as the contract pushes up, but they're still holding on to a rather large chunk of this 10,000 contracts. There's still 6,200 open interest. So maybe they're not willing to call it a day quite yet, but they are definitely in the profit. They're in the green, and they're riding out this break. They're riding this breakout is what they're doing. So is this something that I would get into? This is not something that I personally would get into, because the move has already happened.
Beautifully said. We actually got a request as well for you, Joe. I don't know if you remember the last show and the show before, when you popped up in chat, gave you a little shout out. We have a homie on Substack, also named Joe, who has designated himself your brother. So Joe to Joe, he wants to see the Disney. Oh man, Disney and I don't get along, but the Disney $110 call also for 717. I have a bad track record with Disney. I bet against the mouse too many times on earnings, to the point where I just don't touch it. Don't fade the mouse, man.
All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to zoom out 30 days. I mean, these are looking like short contracts. Originally opened short around April 28th. They spiked. Let's take a look at April 28th. So 2,400 volume came in, only 1,200 stuck. That's interesting. So I wonder if we can pull this up, and we'll see if we can find a size around 1200. See lots of sizes around 1200. All on the bid, directly on the bid. A wider spread, but it's Disney, so their spreads do tend to be a little bit wider. I would lean that these were sold to open, and they maybe added more here on the 18th. Possible handoff of part of that position. Hard to tell. But I would lean. I'm assuming that these are sold to open. So these would be short calls at Disney on 110. Let's take a look at Disney's chart. My chart might be a bit messy. It happens. So, I mean, as far as the chart is concerned, for me, this is TradingView. This is just what my current charts look like. But it's under the daily 200 and under the weekly 30. This is feeling just very bearish to me. So it would make sense that these were sold to open, and they were, what day was that? The 18th? Is that the day that it poked up here? No, that's May 7th. So the 18th would have been, if I zoom in a bit more here, the 18th would have been after it poked the daily 200 and then pulled down, and now it's consolidating. Anyway, in my opinion, these are covered calls, most likely. And this person has a pile of shares that they're just sitting on, selling covered calls, collecting premium from retail. That's what they're doing, in my opinion.
Well said. And I have one more from you, or for you, that will be from you. This one actually has a little bit of a cleaner entry, a little bit of a pricier contract, but we do have a full position carryover just about on the ARM $480 call, also for 717. July's popular as all hell today. And this one is from Soapy Pony on YouTube. Why you got soap all over your pony, dude? Chill out.
What up, Soapy Pony? Don't forget to rinse the soap off the pony. So
Frothy.
Frothy. So I'm going to pull up I just clicked the bar. And the reason that I wanted to take a look. So the opening contracts here, right? Clearly they're opening. Volume over open interest. Clearly carry over. Big price. But the reason I wanted to check out the flow is that the top of the candle here, there's this red part, right? So that means part of this was on the bid. And I want to see, is that the tail end of the trade, or is that the opening end of the trade? And what exactly did it look like? So it looks like this is probably the tail end of the trade. So looking at the tape, like, you're getting these 4s and 6s and they're popping through. They're hitting in the spread, right? Rather large spread. There was only 6 open interests or 3 open interests. So these are all going to be opening contracts, but they're kind of in this. So the wider the spread, the more it feels to me like a no man's land, right? And in that spread, you get, like, how do I want to say it? So, like, the market makers have to basically make the market for this. I mean, that's their title, right? So they're going to open the spread. And when you start seeing fills that are just kind of like popping around in that spread, that could be anything, in my opinion. That could be somebody longing the contract. That could be somebody shorting the contract. This is not something that I particularly would like, mostly because of that. It's hard for me to determine directionality out of that because it's too far up in the air as far as when these contracts were being opened. The first big size of 102 came through at 1344, which again was in the spread. Sure, it's leaning bid, but it's a bit difficult to say, like, to determine directionality from that. And this would have been on the 28th, right? Okay. And then we've got ARM pushing out of this big setup, right? Nice move to the upside, 100% move to the upside. Nice pullback. If you follow me on Twitter or X at all, this is a setup that I like to trade called a high tight flag. So this was the shoot out of that flag. So as it's pushing up, big move up out of this area. And now we're seeing these 480 calls come through with wishy-washy fills in a wide spread. In my opinion, that is most likely covered calls coming through. Okay. Especially as the stock is pushing higher and higher and higher. That's someone, in my opinion, who's got some shares and they're selling covered calls. Or there's a separate leg of this somewhere that I'm not seeing, which is entirely possible. Timing can throw things off sometimes. And people can manage their risk differently. Like this big one came through right here. 200, this is the highest size of this transaction, came through directly on the bid. So even with the wider spread, boom, they hit that. They want it on the bid. The market maker fills it on the bid. And as it keeps going, they just keep wishy-washy fills. So in my opinion, these are covered calls. And I wouldn't look to long those. I would look for a possible pullback on ARM.
And
coincide with the flow I'm seeing today. These ARM 330 puts for 612. These came through this morning, almost all on the ask.
And so just for folks in the chat who might not know, some of the beginners that hang out with us, could you explain what a covered call is real quick?
Right. So if you have shares, at least 100, you can sell a contract to retail or whoever, right? And instead of buying the contract with anticipation that the price of that contract will increase, you actually sell to open the contract. And what that does is it ties your shares to the contract, because each options contract is for 100 shares. So that person would be tying their shares to the contract at that strike price. And what they're doing is they are allowing somebody else, whether it's you, me, another investor, or whomever, to buy that contract from them, and they will sell you the shares at that price. So these 480 calls could be, in my opinion, someone with a lot of shares. The share equivalent of this. Do we have that on these anymore? So roughly 6,800 contracts, right? Oops, not what I wanted. Anyway, so 6,800 contracts, 100 shares. That's a lot of shares for these 6,000 contracts, right? So in my opinion, if this is like something that like Kathy Wood, in my opinion, should probably be doing a lot with how much she owns in a lot of these companies, but she's sitting on equity. You're already up. You sell a covered call. Basically, you're tying the shares that you own to that contract. And if it expires in the money, then your shares get called away. You no longer own them. You sell them at the contract price. So
beautifully said.
That was a really, really long, ridiculous explanation for something that was actually quite simple.
Well, one of the critiques I usually get is sometimes I don't back up from a beginner point of view enough, and so I think a nice lengthy reply was the right move. I got a funny request for you, and this one is kind of coming off of their platform getting some like security bonus designation or some shit. Our good old friend from the meme days, BlackBerry. It is up like 100% in the last month, doing crazy moves with some of their software platforming. I think they asked for a general options review, but I'm also curious, as you're someone with more of a long-term view on charting than I ever care to look at. I'm curious about what you think about its breakout chart on some of this news, as well as what we might be seeing in the options realm.
Well, what is the news for them?
They got here. I'll let me see if I can find that article
key
I saw.
constraint. Did they say AI at an earnings or something?
Something like that. Apparently, they got what is called a Class D recertification for its ad hoc platform, calling it the only critical event management provider to reach that standard and used/trusted by 80% of U.S. federal agencies. So that, with a small earnings beat, seems to be kind of fueling this a little bit.
So are they pivoting into like well, what's the word I'm looking for?
They're kind of
Network
pivoting. It looks
security
like,
stuff, right?
yeah, sort of, for operational control in emergencies. Whatever the hell that means.
Don't know.
But hey, investors seem to like it.
Right? That's a lot of volume on the daily chart. So I'll take a look at the options flow. So I'm gonna go to the contract lookup for unusual whales. And I'm just gonna type in the symbol. I'm not going to follow it up with any contract information. And this just gives me the current today. So today it looks like there's some volume coming in on the 9 and the 10 calls for today and next week or next month. But looking at this, the open interest on these 9 calls is 12,000 and the volume today is 10 and there's 0 DTE. So I'm going to assume off the bat that those are closing contracts. So the 9s are essentially being closed, in my opinion, and then the 10s are most likely being opened based on that. The premium is the next place I'm going to look, and there's not a ton of premium. So these are being closed out at 170,000, and then these are being opened at 779,000. I'm wondering if these were maybe a short. Let's take a look. Hard to tell. Bid ask is 50-50. High IV. They got in at 23 and now they're being closed at 30. Not a very good read on that. Let's take a look at the 10s. So my first thought on these is there's been contracts opening the previous days, right? So you've got coming in on the 21st here. Whoa, get back here. The 22nd. So you got 3,000, 3,000, just these volume hits, and then the OI starts to pick up heading into the 27th and the 28th. And now there's a big, you've got volume coming almost 2x over the open interest. But I don't think they're opening contracts. I think this is going to be a situation where whoever started opening these contracts is now closing them, and somebody else is maybe following in behind them, or they're turning around and selling covered calls. Maybe, hard to tell. But they've been opening since the 22nd, and now we've got this huge amount of volume, and these contracts have almost tripled, have over tripled in value from when they started being opened. So I'm leaning toward these 10 calls also being closed, and then I don't know, maybe a copycat coming in behind them or some other shenanigans on that. But I would assume that this open interest might just be static or go down for next week. Net premium, just seeing, so as BlackBerry is pushing up, they're getting nice spikes in call premium, and then they're dying off, right? So these are day trades, in my opinion. They push up, and then you see the premium die off. Push up, die off, push up, die off. And now you got your call premiums going below the 0 line. So these are people taking profit, right? And the day before, call premiums push up, and then now today they're dropping. So in my opinion, based on just like the overall options flow that I'm seeing in the net premium and these 10s, it seems like to me that people are taking profit on these, and they may not expect it to stay up here. Back to the BlackBerry page, I'm going to sort by premium and see where the most open interest premium is, which is going to be on these 7 calls for 600 days out, 2028. I'm going to zoom out and see what I can find here. So it looks like they started opening them around April 9th. Take a look at April 9th. So they started getting in around 63, 65, 67. You're seeing I'm seeing a lot of volume here. Volume hits with corresponding open interest increases. So we're seeing opening contracts, and they're in the 60s, and then they're pushing up. And now these contracts are in the 300, 400. They peaked today at 490. And now we're seeing volume as well coming through. In my opinion, this is maybe somebody who's in it for the long haul because they got the time. But these contracts are already up so much that that's not something that I would want to look at. I would lean more toward BlackBerry is going to see a pullback. And not because I see like an increase in put premium, but because I see a decrease in call premiums happening.
And so, just a quick question on that, because this is a question I ask myself every time I see. I would actually at this point call it a squeeze, because if you just look at it, it's up over the 6 months. It's up over 100%. 30% of that came within the last 5 days. It looks like. Would you be confident enough in that read to trade it to the downside during this push?
Yeah, but I would take something very close to in the money with time. So I'd be looking at maybe, I don't know what strikes they have available. Let me pull up an options chain. For a downside, I'd be looking at least July at the very least, and maybe like 8 and 7 puts. There's actually a lot of open interest there. Let's take a look at those. BB 717. What's that? 7 puts. All right, so somebody or something longed the 7 puts yesterday at 39. It looks like it's probably a cross trade, so it could be anything. Or is it just a neutral trade? Horrible spread. Absolutely horrible spread. Yeah, that's gross. What's your take on the no side? I mean, it's clearly leaning bid. What am I missing here? I'm not seeing a cross trade.
Yeah. Let me I'm going to pop it open on my screen on the back here and see if I see any. Because that usually we will see, when you have a side of none, it's almost always, and I would have said always, if we weren't looking at this right now, it's almost always a perfect midfill or a cross trade, and I'm not seeing.
Was it modified at all?
It's not struck or X'd. Can you pop open the contract view on that, Joe? I do see that one's tagged cross.
Yeah, no, it's showing cross.
Did it just need a little reset, or was we were just blind?
Oh, now it's showing cross. Oh, I turned my flags on.
Oh, fair
I had
enough.
my flag off.
That'll
That's
do
what it was. Okay. So it's a cross trade, and cross trades could be literally anything, right?
Yeah.
Most likely a broker to broker predetermined trade. So who knows what this is? As far as a trade to the downside, I mean, I'd look at maybe 9 or 8 puts based on the chart. Like it's got this big breakout, the squeeze. It's just gone straight up, right? So I mean, you could depends on what a person's risk is, right? If you want a YOLO, like a 5 put, and just as little amount of money as possible, and you can pick up a 5 put for July for under $23, right? And just see what happens. That could be that. But man, I don't know.
When you
It's such
when
a
you see
it's such a
stuff
big
like
rip, you know.
that, like if I was looking at this and it was a 1 minute chart, I would be, just from the scalper point of view, I would be eyeballing a really firm rejection up here between 9 and 950 to kind of target that prior high where you started your trend line. Uh, but yeah, when we're moving up like this, I guess my question would be, do you ever change to higher time frames to see what that pattern looks like outside of the daily, like on the weekly or the monthly?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And it's just a big flagpole, is what it looks like.
Straight up.
Straight up, baby, you're gonna love me forever.
Oh, another singer.
Shit,
Another
we're gonna have
singer.
to-
Oh man.
Oh, we don't need that. Oh.
We're gonna have to start doing some swapping around on Anthony here if we're gonna start doing that. 'cause
Whoa.
We're gonna have a lot of fucking fun.
Not caught in a hit and run.
Yeah, I mean that's almost a 200% move in 2 months. So as far as trading to the downside, right? There's a couple ways that I could structure a trade. I could shoot for the very low risk YOLO to the downside, maybe like a 4 or a 5 put with some time. This could very easily become a flag and continue going. So if they're pivoting their fundamentals from being BlackBerry to, like a computer security company, maybe probably based on AI, maybe they're going to use Mythos, who knows? That could be a fundamental shift, which we could be seeing. I'm a guy who likes fundamentals, so we could be seeing that shift in business from whatever it is they're doing right now, which is apparently nothing, right, to something more relevant, and then maybe that's why we're seeing this load up. So maybe not a trade to the downside. Maybe a wait and see would be a better option. Wait and see what happens.
Fair
See
enough.
if it turns into a flag. Maybe get a nice top set up here.
Kind of set up another stair step like that little one they set on the initial part of that breakout. Maybe even a back test of it. But if I'm being honest, when you just look at it from this, when it's a sub $10 stock, that back test is a significant percent. Like if I was looking at this from a scalper's point of view, I'd be looking basically where you had your cursor there, between that 640 to 610 range. It seems like it could get tested, but man, they sure pushed up off of it.
Yeah, maybe come back down here and test this pivot. Yeah, you can see that. I would more like to see something like, something like that happen,
Maintain a higher end of the flag.
and then put in a pivot and break above.
And just
That's
that
what I
comment
would like
about
to
like a
see.
shifting fundamental. I mean, just look at Nokia with their, I mean, buzzword AI, but the way that they've been doing things and getting, I think they got a new deal for something in Indonesia. Just shifting what they're doing with business seems to be all the rage right now. I mean, we've got a shoe company doing AI shit. We've got a toilet company making RAM because all the RAM suppliers stopped making it for consumers. What's one more phone company doing crazy shit?
Right, but we're seeing it because like these companies that have been essentially dying as AI is becoming more and more prevalent, as more companies are, like, you've got these big global juggernauts like Google and Microsoft and IBM. These smaller companies that have become irrelevant want a piece of the pie too. So remarkably, BlackBerry is still like a profitable company where they are, which is crazy. Based on this is an indicator I put together for fundamentals. And on the right side here is their net margin, and they're still profit. I mean, they're not doing crazy margins, right? And they don't have a ridiculous amount of revenue, but they're profitable, right? And their EPS is still profitable. So not only are they a profitable company, but they're pivoting fundamentally into something else. which could be, these could be this volume and this breakout could be investors maybe rushing. I have a quick, maybe let's take a look at, let's use unusual whales here to, what am I looking at? Let's pull up a ticker of BB. And let's look at institutions. So right off the bat, this chart on the right, I'm seeing, and this is based on quarter, right? I'm seeing continued quarter after quarter, ever since 2014, institutions continually buying. Oh, this is Microsoft. What am I looking at? I said BB, bro. What are we doing?
Dude, I do that all the time. I'll hit enter, and I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it doesn't go through. And then I'll just be looking at the wrong shit for like 10 minutes, so confused.
But still right here, like the institutions never got rid of BlackBerry. This goes back to 2014, and there's no like institutional sell-off, right? The hedge funds, the big money, or maybe not hedge funds, but your big institutional buyers, your big institutional corporations and companies haven't just dropped off BlackBerry. Throughout all the memes, throughout all the GameStop crap, they're still here, which in my opinion is pretty significant. So it would be nice to see this start growing again. That might be something that comes through on the next institutional update. But
looks like it's been a little bit of a grower and a shower over there at BlackBerry.
Right.
So, Joe, I'm going to pick your brain for one more contract before we send the homies off into their days and I get to go to the car shop for a few hours. I'm going to butcher this one, and I'm usually really good with this shit. From Kisin Veneno on YouTube. INFQ 17.5 put expiring on July 17th again. They're slapping the shit out of the July contracts.
Mm-hmm. All right. INFQ. First off, what is INFQ? What do they do? I don't know. INFQ. What is you?
Another one of those homies that have been popping up a lot lately in the quantum computing space, formerly known as cold quanta.
Cool.
If you guys ever want to check out a couple of interviews that I did for Unusual Whales with some quantum computing folks, it was actually really refreshing. You just head on over to, you can just look at the Spotify or the Apple Pod. It was really interesting to me how open they were to the criticisms and even agreeing with many of the criticisms of quantum. I expected their CEOs to kind of beat around the bush, talk in circles around it, discredit them, and no, they're all very aware and very open about it. So that was really refreshing from my point of view. I'm usually pretty jaded about that shit.
Did you say the 17.5 calls or puts?
Shit. Tucker, which one was it? I can't scroll.
Put.
I knew that.
Yeah, I sent a link.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, the last
Yep,
link
that's
I
the
sent
one.
was a contract.
Nice little build up in OI there.
Just a bit. Very heavy on the bid side. This would look like a bullish trade, right offhand, at first glance. This would be somebody, in my opinion, most likely selling cash secured puts, which for the noobers is like a covered call, but instead of having shares to cover your contract, you have a pile of cash to cover buying at that price. And these are in the money. So you're looking at a 17.5 put in the money. So if this is a bullish trade, and in fact are cash secured puts, whoever opened this for $3.1 million is assuming there's going to be a large enough move to the upside that these are going to expire, most likely worthless. That would be, in my opinion, what they would be looking for to happen because that would be the greatest profitability. So to look at it then from the opposite side, what's the worst case scenario for them? Worst case scenario is these contracts expire in the money and they now have to buy a bunch of shares at 17.5. So depending on what their current portfolio looks like, what their current position looks like in INFQ, they could be looking to add at 17.5. Maybe they bought on that last big push, right? Maybe they longed up here at 20 and now they're looking to, they're willing to add at 17.5 if they have to. But this looks more like a short put, in my opinion.
And so generally with like the shorts, if you've got security on it, be it cash secured, you end up in a similar situation to covered calls, but on the flip side, right?
Correct. So instead of getting your shares called away, you get to buy shares if it expires in the money.
Get to or have to, I guess, depends on your perspective.
Right. And if you're the person with this pile of cash, maybe you do want to. Maybe you're okay with that. So when it comes to like selling to open a lot of contracts, right? I have to put myself in the position of this trader. Worst case scenario, what's going to happen if these are shorted? They have to take on contracts or shares at that price, which means they're either fairly confident that these will expire worthless or they're perfectly okay with the worst case scenario.
Beautifully said. And with that, Anthony, sit up. It's cutting your head in half. What are you doing, man? He's over there fucking snoozing as if we don't have free alpha on the show. My God.
Well, where's Tucker? Tucker's not even around.
I wonder if I can
What
like
up?
hold on. This would actually be funny. No, it's gonna be too much. I was gonna make a tiny Tucker and put him in the corner of Joe's room.
It's fine.
I'll
Don't
take
worry
him.
about it.
So I
It's not worth
think
your time.
I think that'll do us for today. I've got an appointment to get to here shortly. But Joe, obviously, man, you're gonna be welcome anytime you want, as long as I don't have something scheduled up already. Before we send folks off, the chat was really hyping this up. They said that, really good explanations from you. They're really enjoying your breakdowns. We had Joe Garcia in Substack, still your brother. He's the man. Where can people find you, Joe, and see a little bit more about what you're doing and working on, man?
Pretty much everything I post is going to be on Twitter at a Joe named Joe. And that's pretty much it. I'm also on Threads, but I'm not as active there. Just kind of been exploring some other social media platforms. And on Discord, a Joe named Joe 0000. If anybody has any questions, feel free to hit me up. Also, if you didn't know,
I know exactly.
you can get 10% off a new subscription at Unusual Whales using code Joe.
Go to Joe. He did it with a whopping 4 letters to keep it memorable.
Right. Listen. They've just added in an AI assistant, right? So before you send this off, I'm going to touch on this. This thing is killer, right? So yesterday before the markets closed, right? I popped into Mr. Whale and I said, I want a scanner that looks for unusual options activity for earnings, but only tickers with earnings within 1 day, right? And then it gave me the screener settings, and which was nice because that's what I wanted, right? So I popped that up, and I was like, it's too much work to look at a chart of options contracts. Tell me which ones are the most bullish, and it popped those in for me. Great. And it gave you the read. You know what it pulled up yesterday? So the MDB 330 calls, which would have been great if MDB didn't completely turn around and dump, but it also picked up Dell 350 calls, right? And those went monster. Those went from 11 to 7,000. Those were crazy that it picked those up. And then I said, but wait, I'm still pretty lazy, Mr. Whale. Give me the most bearish contracts too. And it gave me the most bearish contracts, which were also in addition to MDB and Dell, like some downside, right? But it also picked up the Sentinel S contracts for 16.5. Those went from 69 to 140 overnight. So This thing is crazy. And you get access to Mr. Whale through each subscription tier of Unusual Whales, which you can get 10% off using code of Joe. Have a good day.
Cheers to that. Thank you, Joe. And it's really nice to see other people getting good use out of Mr. Whale. If you guys recall, last episode, we talked a bit about some of the picks that it gave me and Anthony, and I think I had a 8 out of 10 hit on those. Absolutely monster shit. Great episode, Joe. Thanks again for coming. Hopefully we'll see you again on here. Code a Joe, as he said, gets you that tenner. And on top of that, y'all, we'll be back giving you some shit on Monday morning. And hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Check out a Joe named Joe on Twitter. See more of kind of how he does flow reads. He posts pretty much every day with some damn good breakdowns, I gotta say. And until then, folks, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Take care, guys.
That outro.